If you can hear us in the building, say so. Let somebody know. Let us know. Okay, peace and love, everybody. I swear. Woo, that was a struggle, honey. You hear me? Oh, yeah. But we didn't got it together for our conversation tonight. We are going to be talking about domestic violence in the military. But first, I'm delayed. But first, y'all just don't mind me being delayed tonight if I'm a little
Oh
delayed
my
tonight.
God. Now I can hear.
Okay. Let me go here and do a small share my screen with you all because I want to chime into a few pieces here, and then we're gonna get back to the business. So we're going to talk about domestic violence in the military population, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I want to go over just a few brief things about domestic violence in the military population. Okay. So DOD defines domestic abuse as a crime that involves the attempted use, or threatened use of force, or a violation of an order of protection, or a pattern of behavior resulting in emotional, psychological abuse, economic control, or interferences with a personal liberty. Okay, I want to say liability so bad, but that's not the right word. However, the FAP, which we're going to find out what that is, only recognize domestic abuse as it pertains to heterosexual couples, which
Hmm.
means homosexual couples are not recognized. The
Wow.
Department of Defense divides physical abuse into three categories: mild, moderate, and severe. Now I don't know how you could be mild, moderate, and severe and you're in a domestic violence situation. But anyway, three studies of the FAP Central Registration data revealed that physical abuse was the most common form of abuse. All right, ranging from 89.3% to 92.4% of all reported cases, followed by, of course, emotional and sexual abuse. All right, the issue is that they keep low numbers on sexual abuse too, and they shouldn't. According to a 2018 study, 36% of women and 34% of men experience physical violence, sexual violence, or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Those numbers go up for veterans and service members, with some estimates reaching as high as 58%. Active duty service members are three times more likely to perpetrate intimate partner violence than civilians. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving so we can get into our dinner table sidebar conversation. After returning to the United States from Afghanistan, he had continually struggled with his mental health and substance abuse, but had kept working, rising through the ranks to be a first special forces command to the first special forces command. 9 days before her death, Sarah had contacted the unit for help, despite previously being met with skepticism and accused of trying to ruin her husband's career, her aunt said. So he ended up murdering this sister here. Another sister named Leah, her case is pretty interesting because she was trying to foul all of these things too, but the command that her husband was stationed at was not trying to acknowledge that Leah was going through this process. So she said, I'm gonna call her Miss Leah, for defaming him. I called the police, and in doing so, he said I crossed the line and he left the house. She told the House Armed Services Committee hearing on domestic violence in September 2019, over the next 3 days, I miscarried. And What was the Air Force's answer? When they learned of this, he's doing you a favor. Miss
Mm.
Leah explained she was initially reluctant to report the abuse, both to the police and to Mr. Cardin's superiors, because she did not want him to lose his job. I'm gonna really tap into that in a minute. When she eventually disclosed the incident to Mr. Cardin's commander, he encouraged her to move on without
Mm.
informing her about the family advocacy program, which that is the FAP, the
That's right.
family advocacy program,
That's
right?
right.
At the Travis Air Force Base, or committing to an investigation. She said, so this commander did not, his superior, I'm sorry, did not want her to disclose what was going on in terms of the abuse. All right. When it comes to our women, of course, filing for domestic violence, assaults and things like that through the court system. The study added that psychological intimate partner violence was the most common form identified. While there are a few studies of intimate partner impacts or coercive and controlling behavior. So there are fewer studies done on that, which is the impact, the coerciveness, and controlling behavior. But they do it on a psychological, so a mental and emotional a level. They do investigate or put out information or try to help with that information. When we know domestic violence wears many tags. So how you only pick out two of the tags is beyond me. However, there are gaps in understanding the impacts and the context for intimate partner violence, including coercive and controlling behavior, which are priority considerations for future research. No, we need that research done today. Like we needed that research done yesterday. Anyway, in 2019, the VA established an intimate partner violence assistance program. Directive, recurring, and designated intimate partner coordinator at each facility to serve a subject matter expert and consultant for intimate partner violence related issues. It is also required all facilities to provide the full scope of services when it comes to intimate partner violence. That includes annual employee training, screening for intimate partner violence, coordination of support services, and tracking and monitoring intimate partner violence referrals. So this is what the VA established for intimate partner violence. Okay. So FYI for our community out there who had no clue that that was there.
And you know what
I'm
they
not
should
gonna go
have
to that.
done? Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead and
What was
finish.
it?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let me knock
Because
this
there's
out,
a
then we
such
can get
thing as
into us.
restricted and unrestricted complaint.
Okay. Okay. Out of the four branches, the Army and Navy had the highest reports of sexual
That's
assault,
right.
according to the most recent data from DOD. That report, which was released last year. So we talking what? Last year would have been in what? 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, estimated that the number of sexual assaults increased from 14,000 in 2016 to 20,000 in 2018, almost the same levels as 5 years ago. So there has been no change in the behavior. Lastly, domestic violence male military population. The department needs an improved communication plan, not only to encourage males to seek support and report sexual harassment and sexual assaults, but also to refute the myths and misconceptions associated with male victimization. Sexual assault is widely considered to be a trauma only experienced by women, um, despite evidence to the contrary beliefs about the rarity of male sexual assault persist in both military and the civilian world. Lastly, um, the department will identify determinative research to assess the most effective strategies to communicate to male service members about sexual assault. All right, so we're going to end right here, and I'm going to stop sharing and come back on with the beautiful ladies tonight. And of course,
And
we're going to have everybody. I'm sorry, ladies.
no, go on. We're missing two
Hold on.
people.
Give me 1 second to get back to where I'm supposed to be. Okay, Tia, let's get them back on the stage. I removing everyone's. So what are we talking about here?
Well, I'd like to say that the Army has the highest rate, with the Air Force having the least.
Mhm,
And I also looked up that the most
mhm.
domestic violence
And why is that?
military. Hmm. Why is it? Okay, I looked that up too. And
And why is that?
they listed the reason why um, domestic violence is so high in the military period. But one is multiple
Mhm.
deployments, family separation,
Mm,
um, head trauma,
right.
and mental illness and substance abuse.
Mhm, mhm.
You say what kind of trauma?
Mm.
Head trauma, unaddressed head trauma
So
is
that's like
one.
what Renee always talk about
Yes, that's
being
right.
hit in the head a lot.
Yep. So undiagnosed head
Mhm.
trauma. I mean, they know that you had head injury, but they still put you back out there. And the state with the most is Oklahoma. That was a that
Oh
was a
wow.
that was di- that was presented in 2023. Oklahoma has the most um,
I'm.
for domestic violence against women, and that was
Ooh.
40%. No, no, no. That was 40%, and oh my gosh, sorry, I had a call come in. I'm sorry, and that was again that was 40%.
40%. Oh my God.
40%.
We working with some
40%.
tragic
And
numbers here.
most black
Anybody
women
else
are
want
the
to jump?
most black women are the
Mhm.
most affected, with 31% of women, but um, yeah, 40%.
What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep. And there's a thing, as
Speak to
Queen
your
was saying, I'm
speak.
gonna piggyback off what Queen was saying. When you report this, there's a thing called unrestricted and restricted. When it's restricted, that's when
Mhm.
you just go to your commander. And a
Right.
lot of times the commanders do not pursue it.
Do anything.
They
Right.
don't pursue it, they ignore it. And unrestricted is when you
Right.
tell the off
Mm.
you tell the police in the community,
Mm.
and you don't report
Mm.
it to the commanders at all. You just handle that with
Right.
the with 911. They tell you to call 911. And
Well,
911 does have
Ooh,
jurisdiction.
so it won't get linked back to the military.
That's right.
Or the EEOC as well.
That's right. That's right.
Hmm. Yeah,
And Queen, when you said
Go ahead, jump in there,
the,
Renee. Oh, okay. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, for what you was going through.
right. What happened at church? Yeah.
yeah. Well, mine was pertaining to sexual harassment, and
Okay.
I did report it, and I went through the whole process of everything. I did wrote a statement and all that, and come to find out, they had me waiting for months and months and months, and I found out through other people that my case was already finished, and I had known nothing about that they had concluded it, and that the person I filed two charges, and the person was found not guilty, because nobody would step up and speak, in my defense. But at the end of the day, I did go and I spoke to someone here, someone on at my job, and everything about it, and they basically, honestly, just kind of brushed it, you know, off. I found out later that the person that did that to me had had several incidents, well, more than several. He had about seven, and
Wow.
I was number eight. And with these situations, a lot of times things get brushed under the rug. When it comes to um, not just the military, but police in general too.
Right.
So, I mean, I definitely, I said to myself, I can't sit back. I speak out for people, strangers that I don't know. So why would I stand up and
Right.
speak up for myself, when these things are happening to me? So I had to. It wasn't even like I had
Right.
a choice in a matter, because how would I look, you
Right.
know, out here speaking all around the country, everywhere, for people that I don't even know, and I didn't stand up for myself.
Right.
So I did what I needed to do as far as that, and
Right.
I'm still working on some things and following through with it. But because my main thing is um, making sure the next young lady that comes through here does not have to deal with that, because it's not right. It's not right at all. And I'm one of, I don't know how many, it's not very many women in my department. Not very many women in my department. It's of
Mm.
course it's majority male, and because it's the Navy and it's the police. So, but um, I did stand up. I spoke up, and I did what I needed to do.
So
Unfortunately,
your case was closed and you weren't even aware of it?
no, did
Mm.
not. The way I found out was by everybody talking, you know, just around me, and then they finally pulled me up and was like, "Did you hear what happened with?" And I'm like, "No." And that's when I went to my superiors and the people that, management, and that's when they decided to have a meeting with me. Once I brought it to their attention that I knew. So,
And what was, did they have any
Mm.
justification for not notifying you? Or
no, no, no. That's the crazy part. It's just like so nonchalant, and like, but this is obviously what, is obviously what happens. But
right,
if you but the main thing for me is that my voice was heard, and I didn't sit back. I wasn't sitting back being quiet about it. So, people tend to think twice before they do things to be disrespectful to you when you speak up, when you say something and you don't allow them to disrespect you.
Wow.
So that's what I have made it my business on every level to make sure I speak up for myself and whoever else I can speak up for is afraid to.
I read about
Right.
her name
Right.
was
Right.
Lavina Lynn Johnson. She was in the army, but it
Hmm.
wasn't excuse me, y'all. It wasn't a case of domestic violence necessarily, but um, she was found dead in a tent
Excuse me.
back in 2005, and her death was ruled as a suicide per
Which
the
was crazy.
Mm.
per the army. But her father, he it didn't sit right with him.
Hmm.
So they went on and they had evidence to show that she was raped. She had, it was battery done to her body, and they said where the area where her body was, there was bloody footprints that was shown, leaving the scene of where her body was. But the army, they closed the case. They said for
Hmm.
the case was closed. They didn't have any evidence to prove anything otherwise, and to this day her case is still showing as a suicide instead of her, she was murdered. But
Right.
the army is covering it up,
Yeah.
Mm.
and it's sad. It's just like, which is the same thing that
Wow.
happens with domestic violence even outside of the military. You know,
Right.
it's just sad. It's really sad.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
read one case where because
But
the lady reported it to the military and not, well, the commander, that and nothing was done, the husband just got worse.
Oh yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that's
Of
what we
course.
that's the cases that I just said.
Right.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I just said
Right.
them cases, the same cases,
Hmm.
and they
Yep,
still doing the same thing. When
that's right.
are the servicemen and women gonna be vindicated for filing these reports and then having them go through, like see it all the way through?
And in one case, the commanders told the wife, "You have nowhere to go. This is your only income. You're a housewife. What are you going to do?
Right.
Suck it up. Suck it up. He's a
That
good guy.
Right.
Right.
Don't
And,
ruin his career."
that happens
right.
a
Hmm.
lot, especially depending on the ranking of that particular.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? Unfortunately, it's not just, I know we're on the subject of the military,
Right.
but it's unfortunate that it's not just the military because I helped a young lady in Charles County whose husband was an official, Charles County official, and he was an attorney actually. And she literally came to one of my events and she was whispering to me after she heard me speak that she needed help. And we talked and everything.
Mm.
She ended up, her husband had her at the point where she had to work at the Dollar Tree. He was financially he was abusing her on almost every level, but he was definitely financial abusing her. She had to go and work at the dollar store in order for her to get income to eat because he wouldn't feed her. He would have her go
Mm.
out with the kids, give the kids money and tell them if they bought her anything that they would be in trouble. It got to the point
Wow.
where she snuck at her job and she bought a phone and she started calling me from that phone. And one day she called me and he did, of course he didn't know I was on the phone. He snuck in and he had taken the younger daughter to the Walmart and he left her there, 10 years old, because she was crying because she wanted to go to the store with her mother and not him. So she finally stood up for herself and said, "Now that's where you're crossing the line. You could do whatever you want to me, but
But
when
no,
you bother my kids,
yeah.
that's a whole nother situation." So she told him that he better go back and get her, which he did. And this lady said to me, she did not leave that situation because of her lifestyle, her children's school. They had such a lavish, beautiful house. And I said, "Ma'am, you're going to be dead. Your kids will not." And I can't. I'm not sugarcoating anything,
Mhm.
because y'all know, everybody knows I died and was
Right.
resuscitated.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sugarcoating nothing. So I told her, I said,
Right.
"Ma'am, you're going to be dead and your kids are going to be in foster care.
Right.
They're not going to be going to that school.
And that
Right.
lifestyle
Their
ain't.
husband's going to be in jail.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of it." And she eventually,
Right.
I went and I advocated with her. I went to court with her, everything. She did finally wake up. She got a nice little, he finally gave her one of the cars. She went to court and everything, gave her one of the cars. She got a nice little modest house. Kids go to, a regular school. And she thanked me and her whole perspective changed because she was thinking about stuff that's not important.
But with situations like
Hmm.
that, it's it's not important when it comes down to your life, like your life. But
Right,
if you're in a situation like that, because that was my situation, if you're in a situation where as though this person is really all you have,
right.
and you're dependent on them financially in any way possible. You've
Hmm.
already been isolated from your family, so on
Right,
and so forth. Like those things kind of play a big part because you're like, what am I going to do? I'm going to
yeah,
have. So it's a lot, but the abuser knows that, which is why you're even put in that situation from the beginning.
right, right. Yeah, you got to look at it from both sides. That's true. But I was more like thinking you just need to get out of this situation, and you can't tell
Okay.
anybody what to do. You can
Hmm.
offer them your advice, but you
Right.
can't make anybody do anything. But I just gave her what I knew to give her, and I thank God that
You
she made it
definitely
out. she's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody's story doesn't end that well.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I,
Sister Carolyn White Washington said, Sister Carolyn White Washington said that Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is now Fort Liberty, and it's a sad truth and prevalent in the military nonetheless. I have known of many cases where, when reported, they would often lose military rank.
Yeah, they'll
So
lose
Hmm.
military
you
rank, they'll
have that
lose their
side of it
pay.
too, where
Hmm.
right,
Hmm.
right.
Yeah, they could do that,
They
lose
they're
their
gonna
pay.
will they lose housing? Will they lose housing? Will
They
they
can
will
lose
they lose
housing
housing?
too. They can lose housing and they can be dishonorably discharged.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the
And they
person,
can
if
be
the victim
dishonorably
follows
discharged.
the right procedures and stick with it
Hmm.
And follow through
and
with
not just
it.
tell the commander.
but
So
that's
how
the
do
cool part about the
and
military
not
is
just
that
telecommand?
they actually take that seriously when it's brought to the right people. But
Yeah,
at the same time, they will go to the ends of the earth to cover it up as well. So it's
that's
kind
why
of
you can't just take it to the commander. You have to call 911. You just can't take it to your priest. You have to call 911 and you have to get an order of protection.
And
And
you in
there's
a
a
lot
thing called
Right.
MPO, Military Order of Protection.
and a
Mm.
lot of times you also have to take it outside of these gates. You
That's
have to
right.
take it outside to
That's when you call 911.
and yeah, and the EEOC and things like that. Because when you start taking it outside, then it'll get attention.
That's
attention.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And not only that, you got the women in there who are not very supportive either. You know your service members that are women, they are not very supportive of what you're saying. Look, I'm trying to tell you that my husband or so and so. Oh, girl, it was like that for me when I first started too. It'll
Hmm.
tame down.
Right.
Girl, you
Yeah.
getting them benefits though, aren't you? You
Yeah.
know, your children not going home. You know, where you traveled the country with this man or with this woman, didn't you? You know, they come up your own fellow sisterhood who are the the spouses in these situations or the girlfriends in these situations be putting you down,
Yeah.
and you be feeling in your spirit like, okay, this what y'all do, like nobody has reported this, which is another, is that another reason why we are delayed? Sisters and brothers don't even have a seat at the table. I mean,
They
the
don't.
our brothers in the military getting sexually assaulted and being in intimate partner violence don't even have a seat at the table. So Lord knows what they doing to maintain themselves in something like that. Because we clearly heard that the military is trying to make it so that the information that they put out is not biased information, not gender straight, not just a gender thing, but clearly it is a gender thing.
Yeah.
It is a gender thing. Because as a mom, if my child is in the military and this is happening to them, I mean, what my child gonna tell me? I'm first time like, did you report it? Did you call 911? But my child could be like, nah, I can't do that.
Yeah. Right.
That's not heard of. You know what I mean? Or man, if I try to do something like that, they gonna try to, write me bad evals, or
Hmm.
something of the sort. So, it's tough to report the military cases. Like it
And just think
is.
about those who's
I
dating
guess the
people.
only outlet or the only yeah, yeah,
Just think about those who's
yeah.
dating people.
That
They're
part.
not in the military, but they're dating somebody on base.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
Pamela Lewis said, "Hey, Pastor," and that happens because people like the lifestyle offered by their abuser and would rather not give it up. Why not? Like, but you know what? That's a very tough one right there. That's a tough one
Hmm.
because that go back to what y'all was just saying about how, you know, some of the sisters and brothers don't know who to report it to for real.
Right.
I mean, because that person could be saying, they send you through all the little DOD trainings and all this kind of stuff. And if somebody's doing it to you,
Mhm.
step into our office, report. But what if the person is saying, I'm gonna make you lose your rank? You better not tell nobody
Mhm.
this is going on.
Mhm.
That's for the for the servicemen and women. How many
Mm-hmm.
brothers we know in this space getting blackmailed? How many sisters in that spot getting blackmailed and beat and all that? Like it's so much. And you would think that the military would be an example.
No.
Right, because it's the military, but no.
We
Right.
still have sisters and brothers that are afraid to report. And of course, we know the men are just petrified at reporting theirs as victims of domestic violence because then you got your whole little crew who gonna make fun of you. You know what I'm saying? Man, you carry a gun. You know what I mean? You know how to put a rifle together and break it down. You scared it, you scared of your partner? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to kill nobody that I love. But
Right.
obviously, she or he or she want to kill me because I'm constantly in this situation. I'm constantly keep finding myself in this situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the other side too is that we have a lot of service members, women and men, who are already coming from a background of trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. One of the signs,
What
one of
about
the
that part?
culprits was mental illness, undiagnosed mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. What about childhood trauma?
That's right.
When you raised up in a household with domestic violence is going on, you ain't gonna tell for real. Like it's gonna be a struggle for you to tell because you used to it. It's like
Right.
it's your normal. So I didn't got through that. I know I can get through this.
Mm-hmm.
But when is enough enough?
Right.
And my shades is a part of my little skit tonight. But when that girl take her glasses off, she be saying, I don't want to take my glasses off. And she be saying that
That's
because
right.
why? Her eye be
Got
black
black eye.
as hell.
That's right.
She got a black eye, okay? Because we got a lot of service members who be sugarcoating it and buying makeup. Trust me, I see them. They be buying tons and tons and tons of makeup, like
Mm-hmm.
to cover up. Foundation racks be gone. Go wherever you want to go. Try to get some foundation. I guarantee you, the foundation be
They
low
sold out.
every time. The foundation, you sold out, boo. Maybelline, L'Oreal, you name it, it's gone. And we also know that we have our brothers who will go in there and buy them some L'Oreal too because they going through the same thing. I mean, like you can't tell your best friends that your partner, a male, is beating up on you and you're a male.
Mhm.
Like, no, that don't happen. So they said wear dark shades and wear the makeup to be covering up that black eye that sister or brother might have that you can't wear the shades at work. You know what I'm saying? But you always got a pound of makeup on though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't like that before. Because I'm sure people have known you in the past. You know what I mean? But just when you got with this relationship, oh, you got makeup on like that, like tons of makeup. So there's so many feelings that go through there for our sisters and brothers that are in this situation when it comes to the military, and the military is not defending or holding accountable those abusers that are doing this.
Leaving?
They
Right.
instantly want to link it to mental health issues. I don't know how y'all feel.
But even with them linking it to mental health issues, it's it's a different situation if you're trying to help someone. That's not the case. For them, it's all
Right.
about making sure this never gets exposed, and that's it. So they want to link it to mental health so that
Hmm.
even if it does get exposed, it's not a reflection on the army or whatever part of the service that it is, and it's just basically on that person. But like you said, it's the military. They're supposed to. When you think of the military, you think of protection and
Protection.
right, but they're not protecting their own people
Right.
that's
No.
there.
And it's a high level of it's a high number of children also being
Yeah,
abused.
yeah.
Mhm. Not just
Hmm.
not just the spouses.
True.
And another, right, right. Not just the spouses. And
not
I
just
didn't
the
even think to
spouses.
chime into the children. Like, how do they handle it if it's a partner where your child is living in this in terms of the military? So if somebody know that, y'all need to share that for real. Like,
Well,
how
that's
did
when you have to
what about the
file. That's when you have
children
to.
that are
That's
involved
when
with
you
this
have to
too?
file an unrestricted protection of order of protection. You can't tell the commander. You have to do a
That's
911
the
call.
unrestricted one.
That's the unrestricted one. Because when it's restricted, it
Okay.
doesn't go out the right way. It's only with the commander, a priest, and all the high rankers. But unrestricted, it goes out to, it doesn't even touch the commander. It goes to 911.
Mm.
And everybody's is protected
Okay.
because you have a
So
lot of
is it a
people. Hmm?
I was gonna say, is it so at that point, once you call 911 while you're in the military, what say you to children that are in can CPS? Is it like a CPS case? Or is that
That's it's
again, like you
both.
said,
It's
restricted
both.
or unrestricted?
The police will investigate it and child protection services.
Um, okay. And so the military does not have its own child protective services type of branch,
No,
or do they?
no.
They
They have
don't.
a family.
So
They
the
have a
children,
family, but
they have
not
the family
no.
piece, not something just specifically for the children. This is wild because what if your parents are doing
No.
it to you and you a child?
Yeah. Then you kind of like out of
If your
luck.
parents are, you out of luck.
You out of luck
Girl, I'm getting more and more. I'm getting more and more
because you don't even
disgusted
know
with
the
this
steps to
subject.
take. And if you tell a commander, it's not going to go anywhere. Maybe
And we
98,
talking about for the
97%
children.
of the time. Hmm?
And we talking about for the children.
For
For
the
the
children.
children. Yeah.
Yeah, we talking about for the children. So 99. So if I'm 15, 14, 15, and I'm saying, look, they abusing me, I can't go to the superior.
If you go
Oh,
to the commanders, it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to have to call 911.
what?
Mm.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Right.
And what child want to call 911 at the military like you think you safe on
Right.
that's
base?
right. That's right.
I'm so done. I'm so
That's what
every
I said.
time I
Mm,
come in with y'all, I be
You
done. Honey,
turn, you
somebody
think
need to give me another black eye because I am fed up. I'm ready to go to war about our little young people not having no space to call when they are
no.
being victimized by that service member. Their own parents is doing it
Hmm.
to them. So you mean to tell me they don't have nowhere to call on the
No, they have
base?
it because remember now we said that if you go to the
I'm not doing none
commanders,
of it.
they're usually not going to do anything about it. But if calling 911 puts it outside the gate.
Hmm.
Anything that's in the gate, like at home, what goes on at home stays in the house.
right.
So if you call 911, it goes out the house.
This is wow.
So they have to call
And this
911.
this right here, this my black eye tonight is for all my baby girl, all my young boys and my young girls in the military, and y'all parents is doing this to you. Like, trust me, we know how you feel tonight. Literally,
Mhm.
with you not
Mhm.
feeling safe. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
they could be both of them could be somewhere trying to cover it up. The little boy and the
That's
little
right.
girl.
That's right.
You know, I am floored. Every time I get on here with y'all about these conversations, I get floored. I'm not
Mhm.
understanding how you the military and the child got to call now. They don't even want to call 911 when you're not the military.
When you're not in the military.
Right.
They be scared to call 911.
Mhm.
And then they being threatened saying, if you go to the superior, if you tell anybody outside this household, like you said, you could cut out benefits, you could stop us from, putting all that stuff on our children to
Yes.
start them to lying about domestic violence and sexual violence.
I'm not saying that a lot
I'm
of
so here
military
right
people
now.
come from low income families,
I
but
can't.
I know the military preys on that. So that if you've come from where you didn't really have much and now you get to see the world and people take care of you and this and that, and you brought your little girlfriend and you married her and she ain't come from this or that, that's a lot.
Yeah. Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing I was saying in terms of when you're in that abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? Your
Mm-hmm.
your abuser is really all you have. So
Yeah.
it's that's why I hate when people, that famous line, you should just leave. It's
Not
not
that easy.
cut and dry like that. It's
No.
cut and dry like that.
Right.
And especially with the
I am
military, like
upset about the whole children have nobody to call
are
situation.
traveling, your child is in the best school, so it's times 10 with that when you're in the military.
Right.
And
Right.
what I looked up
So
that
they
even when they
extra
call
don't have no one
911,
to really
the
turn to
victim, the
because
children, they're still at immediate danger
mhm,
because they are not out of the home until protective services, child protective services step in.
Right. And
But
that's
now the parents or the parent knows you've told on me
right. Right.
outside of my commander.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right. And I could do anything to
Yep.
I could do anything
I can do anything to
basically
you
to
now.
get you. I'm gonna follow the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow the procedure so I can get you back. You know what I mean? Then it's gonna get worse. Then it can get
Yeah,
worse for the child
that's
Right.
right.
because they stepped out and said something because that's not
Mm-hmm.
normal.
Because you
But see,
got
have you
I'm
ever heard of
so
a
blown
case?
about the whole children.
But have you ever heard of a case where a child has done that?
Never,
I haven't,
to.
but it happens.
I
never,
was gonna say it has
never.
though, but
Yeah,
It has been happening. It has
yeah.
right.
been happening.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they doing to coach our young children not to talk about it? Because what is going on here? I'm done for the night. I'm so serious. I'm done. You mean to tell me children don't have nobody that they can call outside or on the base unless they call 911 and get
Unless they
child
call
protective
911,
services in?
they have to get protective services
I'm mad.
involved. Other than that, it will be the commanders and the priest or whatever religious institute is on base.
Oh, MG. Okay, my last piece is and while we that's what brought me to that was the fact that the American College of Gynecology recommends domestic violence at a postpartum examinations because we screen only once during the pregnancy. It is possible that the prevalence of abuse would have been higher if there had been multiple screenings and if those screenings were conducted as a part of a personal interview rather than a paper questionnaire. Exactly. So that abuser going to be in there every time you're in there trying to talk to the doctor about
Right.
Mm-hmm.
being abused. The service member is going to be in there. Like they're not going to tell the service member to leave.
Right.
No,
Okay. And then if you scared to death, you ain't gonna tell him or her to leave because you
no,
scared. You just going, you know what I mean, try to get through it. And when they ask you, okay, is it any instances of domestic violence going on? What you gonna
nope.
say? You gonna say no.
You're gonna say no, no. Excuse me, nope.
You gonna say no.
What you gonna tell them?
Renee, how many?
What you gonna tell them? Blink twice?
Right.
I know that it is probably some girl. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go there, but I know that it is probably some girls in the military being sexually molested by their
That's right.
dads,
That's right.
or and some of them have gotten pregnant by their
Yeah,
dads
that's right.
Mhm.
and have kept the baby
Mm-hmm.
and then the baby is being raised as their
Now,
brother or
Queen,
sister. Like, cause you can never tell that child that
Queen, find some research on that. I bet you won't. You ain't gonna find no research on that.
I'm not gonna find nothing on that. I'm
Mm-mm.
not gonna find nothing on that. And then if you only asking about domestic violence in the what trimester, they not asking about it in each trimester. They ask about it that one time and never ask about domestic violence again. I scheduled my appointments when my abuser was at work
Yeah, and not tell them.
and not tell them.
Mm-hmm.
I would not, even though I'm going to lose everything and all that. But I think you're safer when you're there by yourself to be able. If the doctor will ask you that question, you will probably respond a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Um, accurately as opposed to your abuser being in there and you being afraid to respond. So they're
Yeah.
saying that it should be part of a personal interview. The gynecologists are saying that it should be part of a personal interview
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
as
idea.
opposed. It could work. You know what I mean? Because think about when you tried to tell Tia,
Right. Yeah, that's a good
you
idea.
know, when you had to tell, you know what I'm saying, what was happening to you. And it's like you said too, though, the whole thing with this person taking care of you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how do I report this person? Like, or you know what I mean? Like, if you go back, okay, you say I'm gonna take the children and we're gonna go back home and visit mom and dad for a couple of weeks or whatever. Do you tell your person? Do you let everybody know then, or are you going back to the military base
Probably going back to the military
and
base.
just continue in the same step?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With
Because that's
back to the
that's the
military base with
most
your black eye.
with your
Right.
With your black
and your
eye.
parents you didn't and your mother and
You
father
de-
know daggone well they ain't seen you with all that makeup on like that. Now all of a sudden you
That's
with all
right.
this makeup. Are you sure? They know they have
Mm-hmm.
never seen you with that much makeup on your face like that. So what's going on with you?
Yeah.
You know. But again, like, how do you tell that to somebody? How do you even tell that to your family members that you are in a relationship where or you in a marriage and your spouse is doing XYZ to you? You know what I mean? And I had a brother who's a friend of mine, he's in the Navy, and his wife was he felt like when he went to get deployed, the wife was getting the checks coming to the SPAC, to the bank account. All right. So he
Mm-hmm.
said he was sending like $6,000 home, back home, while he
Mm.
was out on deploy. So here we go with financial abuse too. When he
Mm-hmm.
got back from deployment a year or two later, they had $500 in the account.
Are you
And
serious?
he's like, and none of the bills were paid.
Mm.
Wow.
So, and then when he came back, the children was telling him stuff like, "You wasn't here, so mommy just did it. We ain't get to talk to you, so mommy just did it. We ain't have to
But
say
what
nothing
child?
to
What?
like we don't have to
But
say
what
nothing to
child
you,
even says a dialogue like that?
A child that's
girl."
been
When they
coached.
been taught a
Wow.
child that's been taught, you know what I mean, or a child that see, you know what I mean, that spouse, in the military, because I'm gonna tell you something, it be happening in the military, and that's what we talking about tonight. So I don't care. All my military service members and women out there who are going through this, you definitely
Yeah.
need to go and find a safe space and start talking about this. Like,
Yeah.
and start trying to reach outside that base and get some help until you can build yourself up to go to the superiors, like, or to go to the hospital and be like, yes, my husband or my wife did this to me. My
Right.
children not gonna tell me you wasn't here, so yeah, we just did it anyway.
Right.
So he said that the children was really undermining him ever since he's gotten back from deployment.
Mm.
So the
But
wife
that's
didn't have a problem with disrespecting him. And hold on, say that again to you.
that's from conversations that they've had with their mother. Like that's all taught behavior. No
Yeah,
child speaks to their parent like that.
yeah,
First, the child shouldn't even know nothing about nothing that's
nothing,
Yep.
nothing. But people don't do that now. Too many kids know
Right.
too many grown folks' business.
Mm-mm.
very true. Very true. Very true. The parents
Hmm.
Very true.
actually, especially the mothers that have daughters, they actually have conversations with their children about adult information.
Adult
I definitely
information.
understand that.
Of
Yeah,
yeah. Well, we hope that as we come to a close that our service women and men can chime into this. Do we have a like a little phone number or something over there? You of course you can call the 1-800-799 safe number if you are feel like you are the victim of domestic violence. And you can do that, you know what I mean? And the superiors don't even have to know about that.
Right.
Correct?
that's right.
Right.
I like to add this piece right here. That if because we have a lot of people that are dating civilians. So what does a civilian do?
Mm-hmm.
If he comes off base and whoop her butt
Right.
or his butt and go back on base. And it says if a victim is in the military
Right.
and the offender is a civilian, it is unlikely that the commanding officer will be able to hold the offender accountable, which is called the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Can I speak on that as
Okay,
well?
repeat that one more time.
If the victim is in the military, well, wait a minute. If the victim is not in the military and the offender is, if the victim is in the military, the victim is, and the offender is a civilian. So the victim is in the military, right? But the civilian is not. It's
Mm-hmm.
unlikely that the commander will hold anybody accountable, and that's called the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
And that's because they're both not in the
That's because one is in and one is
OMG.
out.
house. Wow.
So they will not, and
What you
that's
was gonna say,
called
Renee?
Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Wow.
Mm.
Can I speak on that as well? Can
Mm-hmm.
y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
We
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. Um, when
Yes.
as I mentioned earlier, when I went to the military pertaining to what happened to me, they once a young lady that was in the office that deals with sexual assault and things like that, when she realized that I was a civilian, her whole attitude changed. And she said,
Yeah,
you're not an officer?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm not an officer. I'm a civilian police officer." She said, "Oh, well, we have some information. We can help you too, but," and she was trying to give me a pamphlet, like, basically what I realized is when you're a civilian on a Navy base or whatever, you,
you
you
have
on
no
your own.
rights.
You're on your own.
You have no
And
rights.
that's exactly how I felt that day. Thank God I am who I am outside of where I work.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, and that's what I said to her. I said, "Ma'am, it's fine." She was apologetic, but I said, "Ma'am, it's fine because, I'm an advocate against domestic violence and sexual assault, but I thought it would be proper for me to come to you, seeing as though this is my job and that maybe you could offer me some help. But if you can't, it's okay." And I laughed, or whatever. But it is really a sad situation because, um although I stood up for myself and everything, I felt like I felt defeated. I felt defeated because
Right.
when I found out in the end that this person, because he's military and because he's a police officer as well, that he got away with it, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 7. I was the eighth.
That's crazy.
I was the eighth
You was the
person.
eighth person. The
Yes,
eighth
I
person.
was the eighth person
Mm.
that this man had did this to, and nothing was done.
He
Is
was
he
protected by the house code.
like that?
He was protected because, for
Mhm.
one, he was prior military and he was a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a woman. You know what I mean? When I got the job where I'm at, I was told that they definitely need um more women more women here. I know I know you did this type of work, so they need more women. Their quota, such, that type of thing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was one of the few women that came there to get a job, and it's still not a lot of us there. But as far as our rights and everything are concerned, I'm one of the first people that stood up and wrote a grievance. Everybody else was afraid
Mm.
Mm.
to do it.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong, I'm just starting this job.
Mm.
I was afraid too. I'm like, I just started working for the
Mhm.
government. I'm not trying to lose my job, but you know, I had to do the right thing.
So once you came forward, none of the
Right.
previous men said anything. I still.
Once I came forward, they they said they were gonna do their little research and see, what was what. And at the end of the day, the outcome was they didn't have enough proof because the people that were there did not want to get involved.
If they
So
didn't have enough
it was
proof, if
OMG.
they couldn't show enough proof for a woman that was murdered, they're not going to
right.
show enough proof for you.
For me, exactly. So, I mean, and I get that, I get it, and I get them, because these were new employees as well. They were thinking about their livelihood. They're like, I
Yeah,
don't know that woman. Yeah, I was there.
Right.
I saw it. They know everything that I said was true. But at the end of the day, they had to look out for themselves, and that's exactly what they did.
But they
And I'm not even mad at them. I'm just mad at the whole situation, that now it's still things like this, are still going on.
So wait, so Renee, so this is actually documented
Yep.
that there were 7 other women.
Yes, yes. And the
mm.
thing of it is, from what I understand, it was uh, basically like a payoff type of thing for them.
To
Mm.
the other women.
Mhm.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Why nobody's coming forward because
Mm.
they paid off.
Right, 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 right.
Hush me.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Lord have
and I
mercy.
can't be bought. I can't be bought,
Mm.
and not only that,
It-
I'm not going to sit back and be quiet, because, like I said, it's not just about me. It's about that next young lady that walks through that door. That you know, if I speak up now, then maybe she won't have to go through that.
Right.
yep.
So now, now I'm known as, oh, don't stand up for
Right.
her. Don't stand in the film with.
That's
They scared now. But that's what I need you to be. I need you to be
right.
scared.
Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly.
If I didn't win no money, I ain't win the case. I
Right.
need you to be scared. So I won.
But you have to watch yourself. You really
Right.
have to be careful.
I
Don't
I
try me like
definitely
that.
I definitely am. And
Yeah,
yeah, and I know. And because of that fact, some things that one person was moved to another location. So I literally feel like I gotta watch my,
yeah.
like you said.
Gotta be
Yeah.
careful.
You
But I mean,
definitely do.
I can't just let things fly, like that. I can't do that. I
We all
can't let things
understand
Not
that.
like that.
No, we
yeah,
understand that.
Yeah, we all understand that.
I can't let things fly like that. At the end of
Yep.
the day.
Flat
But yeah.
facts.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Can we come to a close? Because our time is up. Dinner table conversation. This was beautiful tonight.
Yes.
I back together and doing another topic for domestic violence. We've been talking about the different environments, where domestic violence is showing up. So we did campus, we've done military, And I think we should do the faith-based community next. We need to come back here and
Oh,
talk about
oh,
that
Yeah.
oh, no, you're not.
faith-based,
No. Oh,
Oh, for
oh.
sure.
that faith.
Girl.
Yeah, it's definitely
Oh, you're
gonna
gonna
get
set
hot
something
now.
on fire.
Guys, it's gonna
Hold
get
on,
hot now.
You're
hold
getting ready to
on.
get really hot.
When I come back, I'm gonna have two black eyes and a busted nose. When I come back, because the
Yeah.
faith-based community is something else, honey. They are
Hmm.
Mm.
something else. Okay.
Hmm.
I know.
But again,
Yeah.
that we gonna come back and talk about that dinner table
Talk
conversation right there, which is gonna be very interesting. Just
about
like the
Mm-hmm.
past two, we done one tonight. Our last one was really good. This one
that.
was really good tonight. And our next one is going to be really good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we come back again to talk about Tia,
Okay.
you want to give up your spot now, Tia, or are you coming back?
Oh, I'm coming back for that one. I'm definitely coming.
And you know I'm coming back.
For
I'm,
sure. I'm there.
If
I'm there.
all look, all those in favor say amen. All
Look,
those in
Amen.
I went
favor
to Catholic
say
school.
amen.
You know I'm coming back.
Oh yeah.
Come
Yes,
on,
ma'am.
come on back, boo boo. Come on back. Bring the heat, baby. Bring the
Yeah.
heat because what we've been talking about this one and our last one. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
opening up that door
I
to
Yeah.
got personal experience with that.
Look, look,
talk
look.
about
I can
things. You
sit
know what I
here
mean?
in the dark for the next one, and the room gonna be lit.
Listen, listen. Hmm.
We talk
Girl,
about
girl. Okay,
definitely.
we gonna talk about. Thank you, Carolyn Washington. She said, "Great topic: domestic violence in the church." Oh my God, she said,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'm already in prayer for you." She already in prayer for us,
Wow.
coming to talk
Yeah.
about that subject. Um,
Mm, mm.
but we need to come back and talk about that subject this month.
Okay.
We actually need to do that again this month. So we're gonna try to come back hopefully at the end of this month, or we can
Hmm.
do like the early part of November to make sure we come back and talk about domestic violence in the faith-based
Yeah,
community.
because domestic
And
violence is
I
just
hope
not
to
done
God
on
report.
in October.
No,
That's
definitely.
No, it's not.
that's
No, it's not. We
Mm-mm.
can come back next month and do our next topic and keep it rolling from there because we are highlighting some very good information as
Mm-hmm.
we come to the dinner table and talk about this stuff. So um I just want to thank everybody for chiming in, sisterhood. Thank y'all so much for chiming in tonight, and for being with us tonight on another great topic. If
Thank
anybody
you.
out there is going through domestic violence, you can call the National Hotline for Domestic Violence, 1-800-799-SAFE. You can chime in too, QueenAfi, Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags organization.
right.
And of course, you can, type that in your Google search and we'll come up on that. So you can reach out and just ask your questions or whatever you concern, or somebody who's looking for resources and some of the other things that you might need some information on. Reach back out to Domestic Violence Ways Many Tags and or 1-800-799-SAFE. Now I'm not sure what number to give out for the military because girl, we gonna leave here tonight on a good note.
Yeah.
We gonna leave here tonight on a good note. We're not
Mm.
we're not gonna give out no numbers for the military and have our young children, you
Look,
know what I'm
look, look.
saying, get
It's
risked
called
or being
911. That's
victims
the
of
number.
domestic violence.
911.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
That's
call 911. Call
Call
911,
911.
especially, you know, girl, I can't even end that topic with a phone number. I'm just scared. I'm afraid. I don't know who to tell them to reach out to because this is crazy. This is
Mm-hmm.
whole crazy. Good night, everybody. Thank you for chiming in tonight. Good night.
Good night.
Peace and love,
Good
good night.
night.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
bye.
Mhm.
Oh.